Good morning. Welcome to Heaven on Earth. I am going to be doing all the different things that I can do every day. The one thing I love to do is talk to heaven about heaven and Jesus Christ and this world and this life and how it's supposed to work. It's what I love to do all day long. It's all that's in my heart and mind is to sit here and talk to the fathers and bring their messages to the children. And the weird thing is, like, I think I have the most amazing information on the planet, and I'm so excited to show up and want to share it and talk to people about it. It is truly the greatest dream and love in my heart to help people find the answers of their life, to know who they are. My cats are here, okay, and I love my cats, so they come in. A lot of times they just hang right outside the picture and they want me to pet them. And so I'm here to talk about God, and I'll draw cards just because cards are fun, and God likes to have fun, okay? And there isn't anything that's not God on the planet. There's nothing that's not God. I mean, you just go make a big pile of everything you think is not God and then set it on fucking fire. Every atom is God. Every atom came from heaven. Every atom goes back. This is Nancy's nose. She wants it back. This is Carl's toe. He wants it back. They donate a certain amount of God consciousness to create what they call the framework. Everything that's solid, everything that got turned into matter, okay? Everything that entered at the moment of the Big Bang was the framework of the ride. And it's just a ride. It's a game. It's a grow gods. I mean, my mom was talking about the suffering on this planet. And I'm like, well, see, from heaven's point of view, most of the suffering we create. When you have massive economic imbalance and the wealthy stealing 90% of the wealth so that everyone else can struggle to survive and be in suffering and guilt and fear and hate and division. Oh, yeah, you guys are really earning some brownie points in heaven. There you go. Yep, those are rewards you want to wear. No. Heaven is a place of love and sharing everything. And it's not, I mean, it's not, it's like the ocean, okay? But nobody has a quote unquote territory in the way that we humans think. Okay, you have your personal space, that's your personal space, and that's kind of like your house. Like everyone has their own shell, except you have your own garden. And kind of like the Robin Williams, where, you have your own that you create that's yours. And you're always there. But you want to connect with other people too. You know what I mean? And so heaven is about sharing and caring and joy and being one and playing with each other and just being in joy all day. Okay? Heaven is nothing but joy and sharing everything and having so much fun. That's why I love talking to them. And they love every one of us. There is nothing here that's not them. The matter is all from them. It's like a hologram, but it's solid to you and I. Okay. I was, if we and we're creating technology on this planet. And we're learning and we're understanding. And the question is, are we going to use it for everyone and turn this planet into a jumping off point where millions can graduate over the next several thousand years? Okay. Or, kill the planet and enslave everyone. Yeah, that's just like almost the same. Okay, guys, it's not like they haven't seen it before. This is not their first rodeo. They know how this goes. Why do you think there's sins in the Bible? I mean, there are some parts of that book that have truth. I mean, there's at least 20% of what's in there is truth. And Psalms is beautiful. Oh, you want to make the fathers happy, sit down and read Psalms and the words of King David. I think some of that stuff is beautiful to God. As the New Testament's creative writing. I mean, they have a copy of this book. It's not like they don't know what's in it, but they file this book under creative writing, creative historical fiction, if you want to be more accurate. It would have been a romantic comedy, but Jesus and Mary aren't married. He's celibate and she's a whore. It's funny. I mean, it's like, they just make jokes all day long. And I am at the level that I can hear and talk to, like I can just listen to them. And they kind of project it. They share with me because I'm like a 3-year-old. I'm a child to them. I'm a baby. Okay. I'm a baby. They do not see me as a full-grown God yet. Okay. Now, when I graduate, I'm at that level. I think I stopped smoking, and you don't want to have any addictions. You have to release those. Okay. The spirit can't always release it by itself. Okay. Now I have knowledge that other people don't. I know the cheat codes. So I'm like, fuck, who cares? I know how to get back. When I'm ready to go back, they can't. I will never not be able to get back into heaven, no matter what I do for the rest of, this ride, for the rest of this galaxy universe playground. I have options too. And once you go back to the perfection of heaven, you never leave. You never come back into the playground. You never come back. Because the playground's like the backyard, and the heaven is perfection. And you never will leave. Nobody ever leaves to come back in the playground and be a child again. Only the remainder, that's really like the end of the universe. They harvest a remainder. And that's part of the feed or food or what will be used to start the next universe. Kind of like kombucha, your starter. I mean, we humans we don't understand the perfection of heaven. It is so much more than, beauty, rapture, glory. And they want their worlds in the physical to align with their truths and be beautiful and loving and rapturous and glory. You think that a world where a few have a lot is beautiful, but there are worlds I've seen that have no money. And everyone, and again, when you're raised in this kind of society and conditioned, and this is the way the world works, everyone loves it. Okay. But I've seen world where there's basically no money, where money is not an object required to survive. you have about 15 or 20 hours a week that is donated to your survival, that makes the community work and everything run. And that's all that everyone has to do. One of the things you have to do is go out and bless the food every day. But it doesn't matter. Some people go out. I mean, the biggest group would go out at sunrise and be there to bless the food and send love to the food. Okay, and you bless the fields every day, and the fields were worked on by everyone because you wanted your energy and your love and your intentions in the food that you consumed. And we really didn't eat very much. A lot of us were semi-breatharian. There are people that worry about the consumption of food and survival on this planet. Okay, there are breatharians on this planet that have been breatharians for years. Now, the New Age breatharians, and Jesus was a breatharian. Fun fact is, it's almost in the Bible. I'm sorry, the Bible's so screwed up, and all I either laugh or I get really, really fucking angry. Okay, but Jesus was a breatharian. When he spent 40 days in the desert, Satan tempted him with bread, because that's what he was doing, was learning how to run his body off of light. And once you know how, it's easy. And food becomes a thing, just like your other addictions. Food is something that you don't need anymore. And you can go for days and just be clear and pure, and it just your body runs at a higher level, and you just don't require food that much. Now, I mentioned New Age. There's a lot of New Age breatharians that drink water, and might eat with friends 2 or 3 times a week, maybe, more like a social thing, or 2 or 3 times a month. They eat once or twice a week. There's a lot of them have. If you are just breatharian, you can look very thin and frail and not really muscular. And a lot more of the breatharians now, the New Ager ones, and one of the guys I follow on YouTube didn't eat for an entire year or drink water for an entire year. He's just breatharian. And he did it to prove it to himself that he could do it. But then, you get thin. And so he started, like he eats a couple times a month, once or twice a week. He doesn't require the food as like he did, but he enjoys it and is social and is part of our reality and world. And he eats really high quality food. And so there's more breatharians going in that direction, where, yes, they do their breathing every day, and they don't need food, and they just enjoy it, and they carry a little more bulk on themselves. Most of them like work out and do a little more like weightlifting. They're more physically active. I've seen some of the breatharians and they that don't eat any food at all, and they have a lot of energy, and there's nothing wrong with them. Okay, so I don't want to make it sound like these guys are more active, but they're more weightlifting, more in carry a little more bulk on their frames more easily. Um, but when you're eating and you're digesting and things, it's a constant, it's time and waste and money. And we don't all need it, especially the levels we eat on this planet right now. You know, the 3 meals a day, 2,000 calories. So there's a lot of little changes that in the next 100 years we could start implementing and doing, and use less, waste less. You know, it's not just the production, the overproduction of food and things on the planet, but the waste that we are creating, and specifically the plastic. I heard someone say something about burning it, but I thought that was toxic. So I'm not quite sure how all of that works. But I do know the people that write this right in the code. And, you know, they have ways and knowledge. And honestly, there's a lot of technology. I mean, I know that Trump just did that 500 million to develop AI. We could develop AI and use it to save the planet, and turn this world into a world of beauty and balance and health and wealth and abundance and joy for everyone. Where we consume less and we spend less time working. You know, like I said, on the other planet, you donated 15 to 20 hours, whatever is required. See, the thing was, on that planet, we just lived in balance. If 1 week there was more required, then that's what we did. Everybody. Because we all worked together to make the world perfect and balanced and beauty, and make sure everyone was taken care of and everyone had everything they need. And then, you know, it's kind of like everybody had a house and had food, and we weren't, it wasn't about being lavish. You didn't need an 8,000 square foot house so you could have 10 servants to take care of it. It was all just waste. You didn't need flashy clothes. I mean, people could be whatever they wanted to be. Okay. But why? We knew the truth of the world was to develop your mind and to be in joy and love and happiness. And so you spent your amount of time, whatever was required for that society, and different parts of the world were different for what they were. Okay. We all lived in beauty and balance, and everybody had shelter and food and clothes. And having a lot of wealth was actually considered wrong on that planet because it was out of balance, and you needed to feed it back in, and the more you gave back and the more the world was blessed and raised, then the more you would end up with. So then the more you gave back, and then the more the world was blessed and raised, and the more you ended up with. So you know, and it was like this beautiful cycle of just making the people wealthier. Everybody had enough. And that was on, is like, there was one world where there was no money at all. Okay. And that was a very plain, like, they didn't spend a lot of it. Like, it was very much like the Native Americans. Your regular clothes were just plain, but they had special events where people would dress up, but you could be whatever you wanted. You could dress up or not dress up. You didn't have to. Sometimes you have to remember, I'm a man like 2 out of 3 lives. And a lot of my lives were more being the man. And in some of these societies, being a man was about stature and dignity and honor and knowledge and wisdom, and not men on this planet, most of them, like, running around trying to hump everything. That is so out of balance for men that are evolved on evolved worlds. That would be like dogs humping each other in more advanced cultures and societies, the way white men are on this planet. But we'll just talk about truths, okay? Trump, in some of his past lives, would, had women that he owned, either as slaves or servants, that he just always, if he wanted to fuck a girl or a woman, there had to be a reason why he couldn't. Otherwise, he was gonna. Like, it had to be somebody's wife or someone's daughter that was elevated enough in stature that he wasn't allowed to fuck them. Otherwise, any women that was in his places, I mean, not just when he was the life of the king, he's been other things and done other things too, but in many of his lives, he has been in situations where women were just there and he could just fuck them. And that's how he's always seen women in this world, He's like, oh, I can't do my daughter. Shit, man, the rules on this planet. Because I believe in some of his past lives he could. It's my daughter. So I just, some of these people don't understand themselves because they don't know their own history. They don't know how God made them, what God made them out of. And everybody has a night side and everyone has a light side. Okay, like those little angels sitting on your shoulders being like, you should be good, you should be bad, you should be good, you should be bad. We literally have them. Everyone has 6 on their night side and 6 on their light side, but sometimes your light side is wounded, and so they're part of your problem. Sometimes your night side is wounded. A lot of times we're recreating cycles that we created in the last several thousand years over many lives, and we don't know. And part of the reason we don't know is because the trees have all been twisted. Oops. Did I do that? I feel like Urkel's in my head. Oops. Did Jesus actually teach reincarnation and the concept of many lives? Yeah. It was one of the things I didn't like about him. Okay. There were several basic parts, most of the fundamentals of the Christian religion that Jesus actually taught are missing. And Jesus never would have attached his teachings to the Old Testament like this. Oh, especially a version this, I don't know. See, there are people that tell me this is direct translation from Hebrew and Greek and it is the best. And I'm like, okay. Okay. I'm just going to say, okay. God says, God just laughs. Okay, this book is hilarious to God. That anyone thinks this book is from God is hilarious to God. I'm just saying. Well, God doesn't speak English. God doesn't believe most of this shit. There was somebody was pointing out. Okay, let's talk about sexuality in heaven. Because I could talk about Jesus all day long and bash this book, but God's like, let's not. God laughs at everything. Okay. God is weird like that. Everything is funny. And I use the term God. I could say fathers, I could say quantum, but because I'm in a Christian country in the United States and they generically call the creators God or the creator God, it's generally the term that comes out of my mouth a lot. Okay. But they call themselves the quantum. They don't call themselves gods. They'd be like us running around being like, hi human, hi human, hi human, hi people, hi person. I mean, they have names. Now, the fucked up part is their name is not anything English. And I didn't realize that they had names. It's just I understood from once I started like being allowed to go into heaven and like literally interact and be like really like I'm in heaven. And talk to more than one of the gods. Okay. I was always being chaperoned. I knew that I was supervised. Okay. I knew that it was kind of like they put me in a bubble so that everything else in heaven is protected from me. And I can just be, like, and it's just like a little spark of me, a little connection, a little awareness. And it was very limited in the beginning. Okay. There were just a couple of gods that I talked to. And one consciousness that calls herself Joan of Arc, okay, that lived the earth life, Joan of Arc, who is herself up there. And she would take me around and show me things because the Jesus Christ Father was also her father. And she graduated from this world. And teach me things. Okay, now here's the fun part. She is not that life, but she used that name for me to call her so I could identify and know who she was. And she has a specific vibration and flavor. And she just felt like if I asked a question, she should tell me the answer. And so, and other gods would come, like I'd ask questions, and so other gods would come and tell me things and show me things, and they love that I sit there and talk to them. This is like a fraction of a second of a moment of time just to sit here and talk to them for 6 or 8 hours. That's nothing to them. That's not a fraction of a second to them in time. Their time is like, they don't live in time like we live in time. So it's just a hard discussion to have. They experience time multidimensionally and quantumly in heaven. So, and everything is the quantum now. And I just like, fuck it. Don't talk to me about time. It gives me a headache. Okay. But they don't live in time the way we live in time. They do have a time. because I know stories that were before and after and during and through. So, but their time is not linear in the way that our time is linear in this realm. So we have to escape some of our understandings. I know that I've so enough about time. That shit gives me a headache. I would go up to the corner and talk and hang out. And I didn't really fully understand what I was doing. My avatar was sitting in a park with trees and being one with everything. And just enjoying the world and life. And I'm crying, but I'm smiling because there's so much joy. The quantum is love and oneness and beauty. And we can choose to create that here on this planet, in this world. And we can choose a better balance, a better economic ecology. And we can choose to give people peace and love and balance and time to develop their minds. And realize that that's really the game in the universe, is self-development. And that skills and abilities and things that we learn here in the physical, like when you're in a video game, you can get awards, you can do things that as that character in that video game that you can't once you're out of the game. And there's a lot of beings on this planet that have a choice right now. They aren't, they're not headed for hell at this moment. What they don't understand is the cycles they're creating, they're going to keep repeating. And after you kill so many worlds, you go downstairs. Until you decide you're going to do better. And sometimes that's not always when you're like, okay, I'm going to do better. And God's like, yeah, not yet. I know what this takes. So, there are people that are like, I've seen people in hell. And I used to tell people there was no hell, because few people will ever actually be that bad. But there are people on this planet right now. And it's not a punishment in the way that people think, but it's really a burning up of what you've done and all the negative karma and cycles that you've created, so you can be kind of reset back into something that is in alignment with heaven. So why do you need that? People are like, I'll do better next time. I'll quit smoking tomorrow. Quit killing planets and enslaving anyone. Next planet. I got this one down. We can learn, we can grow right now and get more awards, more brownie points. And like I said, Trump's not ready for hell yet. 2 more planets, dude, you're burning. And the thing is, these cycles get worse and worse. And not my choice. I don't make these decisions. I'm just stupid enough to talk to heaven and know how this shit works. Okay? I'm sorry. All right? I don't like looking at things like that. But the heavens can see. And sometimes that's what's required. And everything's got to be brought back into balance. Okay? All the equations have to be solved, resolved, dissolved. And the whole point is to grow gods who can live in love and above. And if you can't, and you're an asshole and you think you hate and anger and nasty, and not gonna fit back into heaven. See, and then you like bat again, and then you bat again, and God's like, yeah, that cycle's not gonna stop. So we're just gonna take you and you're gonna have a few moments. We say hell like it's a bad thing. You just burn off all this shit that's not gonna ever go back to heaven anyway. Just a really painful way to do it. I mean, it doesn't feel good. And it does last a lot longer than you want it to. I can guarantee you that. All right. I've talked to a few that come back. I've seen it. I just like, why look? I don't need to look up and visit who's in there and why they were doing bad things, and I gotta fix them because everything has to go back. And the end of the universe is just as fast as the Big Bang. They harvest what's left of the children out of it. Okay. All of us, we got 40 billion years, people. You can kill several planets, go to hell, and graduate in that time. So pretty much everybody here is going to go back this universe. Most of us are not, we're not going to be part of the remainder at the end. But I truly believe there's enough people on this planet that are going to get this information and understand it and want to do the right thing, that this timeline is going to get fixed up and changed. Do the climate accords in France. Start thinking about making new directions. We can save this planet and make it beautiful. A world of peace and balance, and people have time and abundance. And on the planets where people had the most, we wanted the least. We were happy. Enjoy with our lives and our families, living in beauty and balance. People reproduced on purpose when they were ready. And people didn't overproduce children on the planet because you understood children were a responsibility. You had to be able to have the time and energy and focus and emotion and alignment to raise a child. There were expectations for the outcome of that child and their productivity and their balance and beauty and living in the society. And to create children like that, you needed parents that had that to give. So you never just reproduce to reproduce and this have a bunch of people so they can, live in the lower 80% and just work jobs and slave away all day. so a small percentage can have all the wealth. Yeah, that's just perfectly in alignment with heaven. I don't know how you Christians figured that out. And, the earth is your divine mother, and she's beautiful. And I know we've done some pretty bad damage. It was purposeful. Some of it was accidental, some of it wasn't. There was a measure of let's allow unlimited pollution. Makes people sick, and then they need prescription medications, and we can get rich. The more toxic and sick everyone is, the more money we're going to make. Yay, greed wins again. I mean, just like daddy's laugh. Our monkeys 7 million years out of the pond. They're so smart. They figured it all out. So, use some of that AI technology to heal and fix the planet, please. Instead of creating these small, exclusive places where it's safe to live on the planet and aren't toxic. I'm just... Why don't we create a world that's safe to live and not toxic? We can do it in the next 100 years. We didn't break her overnight. We're not going to fix her overnight. But, we can move in that direction. Quarter turn of the wheel. Just a little corner turn of the wheel. We'll end up in a whole new place in 100 years. And you know what? I'll never get tired of saying this. Don't shoot the messenger. I have special things for everybody. And I have love for everybody on this planet. And I don't care what you've done. I don't care. I don't care what you think you've done. It's fine. Trust me, there's nothing on this planet that, number one, hasn't happened before. Okay, maybe not in the exact same way exactly, but this is not their first universe. They've watched themselves. We're just little pieces of themselves. You're just a little mini me of a God. He knows how he created you. He knows the purpose and the equations that you were created for. And you know what? They write the ride. They got the equations. They know the cheat codes. So don't kill the messenger. Because I'm truly fun. And I'm truly, actually, mostly a pretty nice person. Okay, so I'm a bitch. I'm sarcastic. Okay. And there's this thing, it's called nose and face. And I point it out to people, and people are like, oh. And I got to be better about it. I was supposed to do some tarot readings, but hey, Jake, hello. Jake, if you're still here and you have any questions, okay, just let me know. So we're here having fun. I have both my cats with me, and we're talking about heaven and God and creation and how the whole thing works. If you want a tarot reading, I'll grab my cards. I haven't grabbed them yet. And I'm just here to have fun. All right. I love this world and this reality because we're supposed to. It's supposed to be fun. And we can create a ride that is more fun for everyone. And heaven on earth. Everyone gets a Everyone should have a happily ever after. We can do that. So, on this planet, there's just a lot of misunderstandings, and I can explain them. And basically, the short and long of it is we are here to learn how to return to source. There was a big bang, and then there'll be a big crunch in like 40 or 50 billion years. Okay. Everyone on Earth will have graduated by then. It is just in the math and science of the rides. Okay. And we can learn to understand why we're here, which is to become like heaven. The rules to get into heaven, I mean, regardless of this bag, okay, there is some truth in that bag. But the real rules to get into heaven are you have to be love or above, which is the vibrational scale of 500 or above on the Dr. Hawkins scale of consciousness. Okay, so the real rules to get into heaven are you have to be love or above, and you have to be a trained mind who can live in a liquid reality where everything manifests instantly. Okay. So in heaven, it's not about so much this good and bad and you were right or you were wrong. It's about have you learned and evolved into a being that with every thought and every vibration is nothing but love or above. And then see, here's the thing. Then you'll be vibrating in alignment with heaven, and getting in is not going to be a problem. But we're here to live in this physical, temporal, physical for a period of time so that we can learn, so we can evolve, so we can grow, so we can understand what the rules are and how to get back. Okay. And there's so many truths on this planet that have been twisted that make it sound like it's really hard and complicated. And, we have the Jesus, you can only get back through me, and there's Buddha and there's Muhammad. And, if you actually talk to source, here's the bad news, dude. Every one of you, everything goes back. Every atom goes back. Every piece of the framework of the ride goes back. Every piece in part. Okay, so it's not if you go back, it's how long it takes you. And how many awards and treasures that you store up while you're in the playground, the ride, being what we're, learning, growing, being children on the ride. So I am, if you'll excuse me, I'm just going to walk over here real quick and grab my cards. The gods, the creators I talk to are nothing but love or above. Okay, because heaven is nothing but love or above. There is nothing else in heaven but being love or above. And this is February. This is the month of love, of learning how to be love. Hello. Learning how to be love, learning how to have more love for each one of ourselves, to love ourselves, and to love everyone. Hi. You know what? It's so funny that you just popped on V, because I just got my cards out. And so I'll let you pick. I have 4 different decks right here. And we're talking to heaven and God. So if you have a personal question about just life, or I can sometimes get really good information. Yeah. So I have Goddess Oracle cards. I have a Akashic Tarot. These are like so amazing. And mermaids and dolphins and angels. So if you have a preference, I can grab one for you. I love this Akashic Tarot. This is one of the most divine guided tarot decks that oh, okay. Excellent. So life purpose. Yeah. Let me just hit a couple of highlights for everyone. Everyone that's coming to Earth right now is here to help Earth rise. Okay, and go more into love and light and higher vibrations. Oh no, I'll pull a card for you, but I'm just going to hit a highlights because there's some things that we're all here for. And so we just all need to know we're all here to help Earth rise. We're all here to move into love or above. We're all here to become our highest versions of ourselves. Okay. So we just, because there are people who are like, am I supposed to? Am I supposed to? Okay, so here's a fun fact. We've made some words on this planet like mean something they don't really mean. Everyone is a starseed. What is a starseed? It is an immortal light being, energy being, piece of God consciousness wearing stardust. And all of the matter of this realm is stardust. So we're all star seeds. It doesn't really, I mean, I know they're like, it means you're beings from what, no. Okay, we're all star seeds. All right. So V, you let me just, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna open and reach into your energy field and just see what guidance would be the most in alignment. Are you wanting, oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes. And I feel like you have questions about your family life, but a lot about business and what you should do about money that would be in alignment to easily and effortlessly make money. So this is actually some stuff I got from some business school. I'm just going to tell you a little bit if you have pen and paper, but you want to write down these words. It's an elf business that you want, something that is easy, something that you love and is lucrative and fun. Okay? So I'm going to just put that in the chat. You want an elf business, okay? Easy, fun, love, and lucrative. And so you start with things in your life that you love. And the other part of it, and I've been working on this too, okay, is being lucrative and believing you can be lucrative and knowing you can be lucrative. And part of that is understanding that we're literally in a world that aligns to our beliefs and our thoughts. Yeah, family and career. That's what it felt like. It felt like, and I don't know what's going on in your family, but you're just like, so we'll pull a card for family first. And and the business will I'll ask you some questions because you can be lucrative if you believe you can be lucrative. And and you start asking for a divine information and alignment, and things start coming to you. You see something in threes, or somebody says something and it just like really resonates in your mind. You're like, wow, that was. And so the first step is just believe. Say, I deserve to have a business that is easy and fun and lucrative. Okay. But there's something going on in your family. You have kids. I feel like you have kids. um, so what questions? Do you want to have kids, or do you already have kids? Because I feel kids in your energy field. Oh, okay. All right. The first card is the scribe, and I pulled it in reverse, and I'm not sure. Um, all right. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You're in a place of great transformation. And I'm telling you that is because 2 of the 3 cards came out upside down, which is the reverse of what they normally mean. One of them is a spring and autumn card. And the setting your course card. And what that means is your yeah. Okay. But you want a family of your own. And are you in a relationship and you're wondering whether or not you should end it? Or you're searching for a relationship? This spread is transformation. This is whatever was is and cycles ending and going in new directions. Okay. That is what this, I mean, just looking at these 3 cards without actually reading each of the cards, um, just says you're in a time of transformation and change, everything that was. So here's an understanding. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. Everything in this universe is energy. And energy attracts alignment. And you're not the only person, and you need to leave, but it's some comes down to money. And here's the thing, you just honor that if it's time, and it's that you start seeing it, and you start aligning with, okay, it is time for my life and me to um yeah. And so what I want you to do is close your eyes and open your heart, because he's not the one. I mean, the setting your course, when you draw it upright, means you're on track, and the course that you've been on is the right track, and you need to keep going. When you draw setting your course upside down, it means that you need to look in new directions, and expect and be going with new directions. Absolutely, you love him. You love him. But here's what I want you to focus on is your highest alignment. Okay. Yes, you love him. Okay. I just ended a relationship with someone that I love very much, and I've been known for 2 years. And we only dated for a very short time, but we've been friends and I love him. And I will always be his friend. Exactly. And so you want to focus on your highest alignment and joy, not on I love him and I want him to be happy and he's going to be unhappy and I don't know how I'm going to work it out financially. Um, you want highest alignment. Okay. So here's the thing. I don't know your religious beliefs, okay, or spiritual beliefs, or if you're an atheist, I don't care. I'm kind of an obnoxious brat because I can prove God mathematically. All right. And everything is energy and alignment. And Jesus is true. Parts of this book is true. Okay. But we're all supposed to, heaven is nothing but love and joy. Heaven is nothing but love and above on the vibrational scale of consciousness. It is nothing about living your highest, best joy in life. And you would never stay with someone that was just settling or whatever, or, if it was below this, you would never, and no one in heaven would ever expect you to, because it is about you being in your highest alignment and joy. And the truth is, they aren't in theirs either. Okay. We get into these comfortable ruts. Okay. And so the best thing you can do, I'm gonna type this in. Okay. So here's a 5-minute exercise. And if you could take notes and do some of this stuff, because I have my own coaching program. I just haven't fully launched it yet. And it's called the AIM program. And you aim yourself and your life in your highest love, alignment, joy. Okay. And the first step is to believe you can have it. The Wright brothers believed they could create something that could fly, and they kept trying and trying and trying. And so you've got to believe it and seek it and know that you can have it and align with it energetically in your mind and in your heart, and begin to imagine that in your life. Being love, being joy, living an abundant life where you easily and effortless, you have a business and you're just fucking cranking it and making money. And you can live wherever you want, do whatever you want, and be in joy and love, living your highest purpose in life. Okay. And I get that you and I feel this desire for I truly believe if you don't have children, you're meant to have children. And I believe that part of the reason it hasn't happened is because you're not with the right guy. I want to read the scribe to you, and look a little at the spring and autumn, because the spring and autumn card is all about planting new seeds or harvesting from the old ones, and the cycles of birth and harvest, and ending old things and moving into new things and planting new things. So I'm going to read the scribe to you. Um, I'm just, I love, we are all here. Here's the 2-minute version of heaven and why we're here. Okay. Because you missed it earlier when I went over it. Heaven is a liquid reality where everything manifests instantly. You think food, food appears. You want to go somewhere, you think a thought, you're there. You want to talk to someone, you're instantly talking to them, and you have your answer. So heaven is not about being perfect in the Christian concept, but about being a trained mind, an experienced mind, an adult mind that knows how to live in a liquid reality where everything manifests instantly and only vibrates at love or above in every thought and vibration of their being. So that is heaven. And I can kind of pick up my phone and talk to heaven, and I get really happy and laughy and silly and gilly because heaven is joy. And what heaven wants most is for us to wake up and realize we're their kids and that we're here to learn what we're here to learn and live our most beautiful lives right here in the physical and be peace and love and joy and live in our highest, most beautiful life of peace and love and joy. Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing, and like talking to me as a Christian, like I can tell you what parts of this book are true and what parts aren't. Okay. But I can also explain Jesus and God mathematically to the atheists and the scientists. Okay. The short version is there's a big bang, and all the matter, the framework of the ride enters in that moment. The moment the void is created, the program begins, the whole thing enters. Okay. And then the gods from heaven, the quantum, they don't call themselves gods. And it's just home. It's just source. Everything goes back. Every atom goes back. Okay. And we are here to learn, to remember, to grow into a being that can be love or above in every vibration and live in a liquid reality where everything manifests instantly. And so it is about being good or bad, in that if you think harmful thoughts and negative thoughts, it can't, you're not in alignment. So we're here to learn how to be love and above, how to live a life of joy in the playground where there's time, where we have time to learn and grow and do better. And Jesus is a part of it. There's Buddhists. How many paths back to heaven? 8 billion, 8 billion and 1, 8 billion and 2, 8 billion. Okay. There's never only one. And yet, okay, this is the Jesus in the logical mathematical understanding. This is the $2 explanation. When Jesus did what he did, it gave his Father and him as a higher consciousness, not the 3D human, to make sure everyone ever born in this realm got everything they needed to go to their next levels. Understanding that we're all here to evolve to become more. And he proved that he had the grace and the love and the understanding of heaven, that from the Garden of Gethsemane until the end, he was what heaven calls perfect. He was love or above while being condemned and whipped and killed. And so for that specific exact period, he had to be perfect. It has an actual definition, and he fulfilled the requirements to prove that he could have the knowledge and understanding to help everyone else. And so it's truly, if you truly understand the truth of what It is not that. There's truth in the Bible, but some of it's a little messed up. All right. I'm going to read this synchronicity. Yeah. Synchronicity and aligning and just, if you understood, like if we all truly understood heaven and how much God loves us, the gods, our fathers, they're called our fathers because they gave the spiritual part of us. And some of them might be male or female or dragons or unicorns. Okay, they're still called your father. It's just like daddy. But whoever donated the 2 cups that made you is your heavenly father. Okay. And he wants you to be in love or above and live your most beautiful life. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to be in joy. And he wants you to fulfill the purpose for which you were created. And we were each and all beautiful children created for a reason. There's no one that's not created for a reason. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's totally in alignment. Okay, awesome. All right. This is your card, and I'm going to read this to you. You may be ignoring opportunities for higher learning or uplifting discovery. Studies that can take you far above where you find yourself today. Or you may have been asked to lead a group or share your gifts in some way. And you haven't responded. In a personal matter, you could be closing your mind to new and broader thoughts, which limits you from dealing with that issue successfully. Thank you. Stop holding yourself back. There is more for you, much more, if you assume the mantle of higher intellect every moment. Yeah, this is all about rising up, okay? Open your mind and keep opening. Know that this is much more than just positive thinking. It is power thinking. During this time, writing projects you wish to pursue may have seemed thwarted. Let yourself step back and take some time. Other opportunities for such submissions will be coming. If you're involved in a legal situation, be sure to find the right person to help you. As you may be meeting lawyers or professionals who present themselves falsely. I don't know why. All of a sudden, my eye got really watery and that got really blurry. Investigate thoroughly and use your intuition so you don't get misled. If you're diligent, you can find the right counsel. I don't know if you're involved in anything legal. But I can't believe you have an oracle deck called Heaven on Earth. I didn't even know it existed. Okay. But I created this stream because there is nothing. Okay. All the religions on the world aside, all the atheists, all the Buddhists, all the Muslims, okay, we're all children of Source. Every one of us. There's nothing. There's no one that's not. And it can all be explained and understood. I basically viewed, just so you know, a little of my story. I just fell off the turnip truck. I spent 3 years just asking why, but why, but why, but why, but why. And I began to get all this information. And if you would be interested, I can tell you some of the sacred stories that happened before the Big Bang that help explain God, and scientifically and mathematically. Because my God is not for any religion or any one person. My God, the heaven, the quantum source, home, created everything and everyone. So I have different ways to explain things for different people. But ultimately, heaven didn't used to create this way. This is not how they used to grow children. And so there are 7 sacred stories that help explain how they use, what heaven is. Heaven is this liquid reality. It's an energy realm. It's more like living under the ocean than on a flat world like we do. And it's beautiful. Okay. I've seen it. I feel it. I'm connected in a way, and can ask questions, and get information. And um, we can all develop to that point. It's just, I've been doing it for a minute, so I'm a little advanced at it. And I started asking, I'm like, well, but what about Jesus Christ? Okay, well, what about Buddha? Okay, well, what about this? Well, what about that? And I just, like, I wanted all the answers to everything. Okay. And so I just kept meditating and asking and spending hours and hours and hours. And part of the reason I did that is because I was disabled, and I had health problems, and I couldn't do other things very well. And I'm much better now. Okay. I'm getting better and better every day. And so I began connecting. I didn't know I was talking to God. I actually didn't. I thought I was just talking to the trees. I just didn't realize, I didn't fully understand. And I understood that heaven, everything manifested instantly. I got that. And I understood that whenever I was talking to them, I was in love, I was in joy, I was in my higher mind and vibration. I could see that ultimately everything would always work out. I knew that it was always, that there was always that way, and that I could align with the joy and the love, and begin creating a life of joy and love. And that vibrationally, and there's a laws of energy and motion that also explain these things, like the laws of Newton. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay. And the laws of magnetism, that like attracts like, and like water and oil, what you align and vibrate with, and what you're thinking about with your mind and imagining in your heart, is what's in your energy field. And then it starts attracting that and creating it in your life. Okay. And it's a little about my AIM program. You align with it, you believe it, you know it, and you imagine, and you create it in your mind, you create it in your heart. And even if you don't understand, I don't know what my business is going to be, but it's going to be easy and fun and lucrative. And lots of people create those every day, and I can too. I can choose that, and then I can open myself to that possibility, and then find it. And you just, like, a lot of people are like, I want everything instantly now. But you and I are in the temporal mortal realm. Everything here dies. Okay. All the suns die, all the planets die, all the everything, because this is the temporary temporal realm. Okay. Mortal. We live in time so we can learn and develop and learn how to create, and be in alignment with heaven, and create a life of joy and love, and abundance. Heavenly Fathers want us all to be abundant. Okay. They want us to have happiness and peace in our heart. Because the one thing you can't always do is control all of the circumstances of what's going on around you. You can't. You're not meant to. Jesus couldn't. But you can control where you keep your mind, where you keep your heart, where you keep, I'm going to be in love and joy, and I'm going to keep thinking positive thoughts. I don't see how it's all going to work out. I know there's going to be troubles and trials and things that don't be exactly as I wanted them to be. But I'm going to go and be in joy and love and know that ultimately it is going to work out. Ultimately, there is going to be success. Ultimately, we're going to have everything we ever dreamed and wanted. I have a question. Have you ever wanted to write a book or be part of writing a book? I don't know if you're still at your computer. And the reason is there, have you, like, do you already have a book in mind, or you're just like, oh, I'd always love to write a book? And because I'm kind of looking for someone to like just sit with me and help me, because I have these 7 sacred stories that explain God and Jesus mathematically, and I'm having trouble getting it. Yeah. So here's the thing. What I need, I have all of this information. What I need are people to ask me questions, because I got so far along, like I forget that there are people that don't believe God exists, because I know he does. I know heaven is there. To me, it's like just it's a fact. And I've forgotten that there's so many people that are in fear and worry and doubt. And what are the questions that we want to ask him, our fathers? And you got on here like, what is my purpose? And you said you like children. And and if you would be interested just to like meet one-on-one, and you and I could talk about this project I'm working on. Because it's not that I don't have all this information. It's just making it so people can understand it, and I can explain it properly to everyone so they can understand it. Because we have the Big Bang, and the mathematicians will figure out all of the equations later. I would love that. I think we could have a lot of fun. Okay. And then here's the thing. I like having fun. I like being in joy and love. And I have all this information, and I just need someone to maybe help ask questions and figure out organizing it, because this is not how heaven used to create children. And there are literally like 7 stories that explains what heaven is, how they used to make children, and or new gods, and how they started on this path of creating these temporal realms outside heaven, and growing God consciousness in them. And when you get done with all the stories, like one of the stories is the savior codes, and the savior codes are part of the equations and the whole program and the creation of it. And Jesus is one of the saviors created with the savior codes. Says Buddha, says Moses, says Abraham, says Muhammad. There were like lists, Joan of Arc. There's actually a list of women too. It's just, they're not as well known. I can explain the sexuality on this planet and how we should be having sex. And my God is creation and evolution, because we did evolve out of DNA that was monkeys, but we were meant to. And there is assistance along the way. Really awesome. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to give you let me just give you my website. I can give you my email address, but I'm going to put it in the chat. My website is not perfect yet, but you can go on there and like schedule a 30-minute call for me, and we'll just make it. We just won't. And we'll connect, because just talking about this, number one, this is what I love. And as what I have fun doing is talking to God about God. And I can explain Jesus mathematically. I can explain it logically so that it makes sense and get rid of all the Christian hoodoo voodoo, because Christ is true. Christ is a fact. It is mathematical. But half of this crap is baloney. Exactly. And teaching the children the truth and creating a world in balance and beauty. You know, the fact that you already have a deck of cards that is about heaven on earth. Um, yeah. I don't want to put my phone number in here, but that's also my email address. And yeah, protecting new children. And I have sexual information. I'm just going to talk right here because this is fun. Sexual information on this planet. Okay. First of all, the Christians are going to be very sad to know that they have the worst sex on the planet, according to the heavens and God. Okay. This is not my judgment. This is what, and the proper way we're supposed to be doing it. There is sacred and beautiful ways to live in balance. And one of them is for the young men. And some of this used to be in the Bible and has been removed, but the Hindus still have the truth on this planet regarding sexuality, which is men should be retaining their semen. And that's what boys should be doing during their teen years, is learning how to retain their semen and do the Kundalini recycling energy thing. Okay. It's really an awakening and a balancing of their avatar and their energies and their minds is really, really evolved for men. And we should not be doing any more circumcision. That boop boop, that baddie. We'll discuss that later. But it literally helps lock men into their root survival so that they're always wanting to fucking fight. And that was a boo-boo added to our scriptures. And it's literally only in one chapter of this book. And it has gone on for thousands of years. And that's a boo-boo. And I can literally explain it, not just because God said so, but energetically what it does to their avatars. Okay, the sheath, there's a divine sword and there's a divine sheath, and that divine sheath protects, and it allows them to shut down and have a home and really shut that part of their energy and their mind down and rise up into their more higher heart and energy field. And circumcising boys removes that sheath, and it simultaneously removes a protection they need so that they're overstimulated, hyperstimulated, and simultaneously become desensitized, requiring constant more stimulation. And I saw a study about men, and that like every 6 to 8 seconds they think about down there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so when I like, this is the best part you're gonna love about me, V, is that I don't just like, this is my opinion. No, I will explain it logically. I will explain energetically. I can explain things scientifically, vibrationally. I can explain things by the laws of math and science. Okay. I can explain like, so it's just fun if you understand that, like there's logic, there's science, and it's like, okay, well, we fucked up, we were doing things, guess what, we live in the backyard of heaven, where we can make new choices, we can evolve, we can learn, and we can make new decisions, and we can, create a balance and heaven on earth. And that's a lot of what Christ taught, that we've kind of lost. Okay. Christ actually taught against circumcision and tried to stop it at his time 2,000 years ago. There's a lot of things that Christ taught. Christ actually retained his semen and was married. And in this version of the Bible, he's celibate and Mary is a whore. So, like, I read that book with Heavenly Father, with Source, with Home, and they're like, yeah, that's funny. It's funny. It's like comedy and uh, historical fiction. It's like almost true, just not quite what happened. Because Jesus was true. There was a life. He was named Yeshua, and he was true, and he fulfilled certain laws. I can explain what perfection is by definition, by math and science. I can give you a spiritual definition, a vibrational definition, and by the laws of heaven definition, that is the math and science of what he did. Jesus was perfect, which in heaven speak, he was in love or above every moment from the Garden of Gethsemane until the moment of releasing his body. And he never allowed any part of what he was to think any thought of negativity or harm to the people that were harming him. And by doing so, fulfilled the laws of heaven, so that he and his Father, I think you heard this part, get to be responsible for making sure everyone on this realm, in this part of the universe, it just kind of put them in charge of making sure everyone gets to their highest level of evolution. And so there's a lot more to it, but mathematically, okay, here's if I haven't said this before, the universe is written in like code that's part math, part language. It's what the gods use. And at the end of the universe, okay, so we have the Big Bang, and that's the beginning of the ride. And 40, 50 billion years, when the right time is up, the universe will resolve all the equations. The program solves, resolves, and dissolves and returns to source. Okay. As fast as the Big Bang happens, the big return, the big crunch. Okay. All the God consciousness that was being grown is harvested. And then there's like, it's gone. It's just like as instantaneously as the Big Bang. Okay. I've watched it a few times, and it's just like, wait, do it again. Wait, do it again. Okay, slow it down. I can't see what happens. Okay. I really don't understand. I just know that all the program solves, resolves, and is over as fast as it starts. Okay. Now that's in like 40 billion years. You and I will have graduated and gone back to heaven by then. Because one way to understand is that you and I are like 2 cups, and through our lives, we grow into 2 gallons. And to make a God consciousness that can live in heaven takes 1,000,000 gallons. Now, it's not that you are that big, like you're 1,000,000 gallons, but you're 1,000,000 gallons of experiences, 1,000,000 gallons of learnings and growth. You're 1,000,000 gallons of knowledge and understandings. And they do that over many lives. Yeshua, Jesus, actually taught many lives. And if you have your phone or you have something you can Google, okay, fun fact, Google which Roman emperor removed the concept of reincarnation or many lives out of the Bible, because it was one of the foundations of the teachings of who we call Jesus Christ. And so you understand it. It's very much like school. You're a teacher, and okay, so you'll understand, or you can think of it several different ways. You can think of it like school and classrooms. You can think of it like levels in a video game. They start out easy. You start out in kindergarten, first grade, and you have elementary school. And then you go to a next stage, and that's more learnings and more understandings. And then you go to like junior high, and then you go to like high school, and there's more. Okay. Jesus was PhD. Okay. And says Buddha, and says there's a many masters and many people that have graduated from this realm, from this planet, back to heaven as full-fledged gods. Because a lot of us don't remember, but we've lived lives before. And part of the challenge of this planet and this world is the removal of some of the knowledge that we do live more than once. But it's all mathematical too, okay? Because by the laws of thermodynamics, nothing can be created or destroyed. Nothing can be created or destroyed. And by the laws of Newton, an object in motion is going to remain in motion. And we repeat our cycles. We repeat our cycles in our life, and then through many lives. Okay, I'll tell you, because I can see some people's past lives, and I enjoy watching some of that stuff. But here's a fun fact about Trump. Okay, he in one of his past lives, yeah, nothing is lost in the universe, and everything returns to heaven more than it was. Even the framework grows and expands and becomes more on this ride. Email me. Bye, V. Have fun. Ah. We'll have fun, sister. Anyway, I'm going to keep talking for another 30 minutes and see if I can draw some more cards for some more people. This world is about love or above. And this reality right now in February is the month of love. And so, I'm really working on sending love to everyone in my life, and being more love for everyone in my life, especially for myself. I have loved a good bit of my life. And I've done that. I got married, I got divorced, I had a kid, and, but I didn't love my life until I started spending all my time talking to heaven. Okay. I love heaven. Heaven is nothing but love and joy. And Pleiadians, being able to help this planet and raise the vibration of the consciousnesses and the people on it is nothing but joy. Being able to teach people and help people know the truth is nothing but joy. Being able to to help people live their most beautiful lives and be all they are meant to be, and be prosperous and be in love and create a life that they love, and create an elf business where they have a lot of fun and they make a lot of money, and being in joy and enjoying and their most beautiful expression of themselves. If someone has a question or wants me to draw cards for them, let me know. I have several decks here. And so we are here to be love, to create a life we love, to be in heaven here in the physical realm, and create a heaven on earth where we can each live our best, most beautiful lives, where we can create a life of joy and abundance and share our gifts with the world, to teach, to create new technology, to help people heal, to some people love working outside. I've known some farmers that just they loved being outside all day. One of my past lives that I lived was being outside all day long. I was a being and a guy. 2 out of every 3 lives I'm a man. And his name is, I call him Shorty. And he lived outside and he worked cattle. And he slept outside. And his whole life was mostly outside from his teen and later years. I mean, he lived in some bunk houses with the guys. He never really had his own house or his own land or his own place. He didn't see a reason for it. It was just something he had to take care of. And he was out with the cattle most of the time. And he spent years living outside. He has bedroll, and they traveled around with the cattle, and whatever town was nearby, they'd go into town and they'd gamble and sleep with the women and then go back to the cows and then herd them on to the next place, as the cows moved through the areas. And so being in joy, that's what he loved. That's what he enjoyed. That's what made him have a lot of fun. I know somebody said something about, Pleiadians and aliens. It's really funny on this planet right now that the American Congress had hearings about the thousands of hours of recordings and data that our military has about things we can't identify. And yet we as a culture believe we still need to look out there to find intelligent life. It's fucking hilarious on this planet right now. Like I saw this whole article about, is there life? Could there be life? Is there a solar system where there's life? And I'm like, yeah, let's just all ignore the thousands of hours that the military has recordings of unidentifiable flying things and spend all our time looking billions of years and light years away for intelligent life on the universe. It did a funny. Yeah, it's funny. Like, seriously, what is wrong with us as a species? I mean, I know we're only 7 million years out of the pond, but come on, people. Like, it's funny. Thousands of hours, people. Not like just a few hundred. They have thousands of hours of unidentifiable flying what the fuck evers. They've changed the name. They're no longer UFOs. Now they're whatevers. Thousands of hours. Is there any intelligent life in the universe? I don't know. Let's go look at all the stars millions of miles from us. Do not look at our own atmosphere. Do not look at the thousands of hours our own military has of recorded objects that we can't identify. We're funny monkeys. All right, guys. I've been on this live stream for about 2 hours, and I love you, and I could keep talking about this forever. But I am going to go do more writing, and we're working on our book. And if anyone has any questions, if anyone has any questions about life, the universe, God, you can put them in the comments and I'll answer them on the next live stream. Okay. I love you guys. We are all children from heaven. We all return. Everything returns. You can't get out of it. The question is, what are you going to return as? And are you going to be, one of those people that ends up having to learn their lessons the hard way? Or do we want to choose to evolve and do better now? Because we can. We can. In the next 100 years, we could save the planet and make it an amazing, beautiful world, a jumping off platform so that thousands of souls can evolve and grow and become qualified to graduate, like high school, like college, and return to heaven. So, hugs and kisses, everyone. Here, let's draw a card to see if we're going to make it. Oh, God just said yes. But, oh my God, that is not the card I wanted. It's not a bad card. I should have shown her cards. I was silly. So this is the Queen of Forces. And the reason I don't want that card is because it means people, it's, I don't want to be the Queen of Forces. Sometimes you get picked for things and you don't know what you signed up for until afterwards. Like, nobody really explains the whole deal to you. I actually don't remember what page that's on. I thought that was in the beginning. I know the basics of Queen of Forces. 184. The Queen of Forces. Trying not to be a complete bitch. Oh, nope, that's not actually what it says. This card shows a woman balancing the energies of a sun in one hand and a moon in the other, with a river flowing beneath her feet. The Queen of Forces represents a woman who can help bring greater balance to your life. I start crying and then my eyes get blurry and I can't read. And the text in these books is a little small. She brings an unusual combination of power and peace, creativity and receptivity in both her energy and her support. Sometimes this card can represent a person in your life, either you or another, coming into a phase of great power and an ability to sustain it with wonderful results. There is a gift of grace and serene understanding when this card is upright. It also brings new roles and opportunities, careers in many of the sciences, global communications, nature, and energy may now be available to you. The Queen of Forces could also indicate the appearance of a possible love interest or an associate in business or in a creative project who has powerful influence and connections for you or for another. It may be someone you know or someone new, but when this card appears, there is a tender yet powerful support. During this time, choose to support yourself as well. You hold the forces of the sun, creativity, and the moon, receptivity. And only you yourself can direct the energy of your eternal life. And with that, my brothers and sisters, I love you all. And we don't have to decide anything today. We can make choices. We can do better. We can balance and grow in beauty and love and alignment. I love you all, my brothers and sisters. Hugs and kisses from heaven.